Good morning, friends. Welcome to Rollin' Ragu. Campgrounds are in. Glacier Hill Lakes Campground. Right under a big power line.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
I'll let you go in, Dad.
Hey, there's mini golf.
Is there?
No, it's terrible. Mini golf means real mini golf.
So we're all settled here at Glacier Lake or Glacier Hill Campground. It is a beautiful campground. As you can see from some of these shots, the lakes are gorgeous. There's kayaking, there's swimming pools, there's kiddie pools, there's water toys, there's all sorts of stuff. Putt-putt, really nice place. We didn't have reservations, and there are 200 sites, and they were all full when we called, which I guess is not rare for this time of year. She said, well, we have this one spot that's not really a campsite, but you can have it. It's a spot next to their maintenance shed with water and sewage, full hookups, and we could have it for the $35 a night. And my first thought was, well, I don't want to drive anymore, so we're gonna take it. But I thought, well, you know, if it's on the side of a maintenance shed, I would have expected it maybe to be a better deal. But I didn't say anything. And when she's writing up the bill, she says, are you going to be using the air conditioning? I said, yeah. And she added $5 to the bill, so the $35 became $40 because we're using the air conditioner. I've never seen that before. I don't know if in your part of the country maybe that's typical. I mean, I've been over most of the country, hundreds of campgrounds. I've never seen the extra surcharge if you're going to use your air conditioner. Not only was I spending what I felt was too much money for a spot against the maintenance shed, but she added that $5, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Do you see those brown metal buildings way in the background? If you can barely make out between the golf carts that are in for repair and the bulldozer under the shed, you can see our trailer wedged in between those two metal buildings, and that is our $40 site. So I'm going to take you over there, give you a closer look. So that's us, the surveyor. Here we are. Here's our camper, our campsite, of course the maintenance building, and the dump truck, and the backhoe, and the trencher, and the tractor, and the firewood splitter, all right here at our campsite. Now I know what you're going to say. Tony, you didn't have to take the site. You could have kept driving. Well, you're right. But all of us have probably been on the road for a long day, and you get towards the end of a day and you're just ready to stop. Today was one of those days for us. Sometimes I have it in the tank to go another hour or two and look for something else, and sometimes I don't. As I reflect back over the first 2 days of this trip, we got very frustrated. You anticipate these trips and you look so forward to them, and sometimes when you start off on the trip, a few things don't go your way. And for our first 2 days, we had a few frustrations. It was hot. We didn't sleep all that well at the Cracker Barrel. The whole deal with going out of our way, I don't even remember if I said it, but we drove about 30 miles out of our way for that Cumberland Falls fiasco. You can start to become frustrated and a little down, and you know, none of us said it to each other, but we all felt like, hey, this just isn't clicking. Then you have a moment that happens, like this phone call from the Airstream lady saying that they would hold up the tour for us and for us to get there as soon as we could, and really changed our trip around. I guess the lesson there is always keep your head up. And I think traveling with an RV, you'll go through a few days where you feel like this is work, 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 and then you have a little bit of that magic happen. And that's what happened to us today at the Airstream factory. With that said, it brings up a topic that I want to discuss later in the season. We'll find a good time to discuss it, but this idea of planning, how do you plan for these trips? Do you over plan and reserve every day? Do you only reserve some of the stuff so that you have some freedom? Or do you go with complete freedom? And we have now done our summers in each of those different ways. And there are some pros and cons to both. I bet you can guess what kind of summer this season's gonna be. I thought I'd show you what a trailer looks like, I think, when it's lived in and not prepared for the video camera. What we have is lawn chairs spread around, wet towels hanging from hooks, blankets on the floor, the camera bag with no place to put it, empty water bottles hanging around, kids in their bunk. Say hello, Ethan. Alright, guess he's not up for being on camera. The morning coffee, and we are about to do some kind of a breakfast. It looks like while we slept, the tractor must have taken off. Up there's the tractor over there. When the tractor started up at 6 a.m., that made our $40 seem like even more of a ripoff. So, all right, I'm not going to complain today. Today we are headed to Hillsdale, Michigan. My wife grew up, Cindy, grew up in Westland, which is near Detroit. Hillsdale was a little town where her family had a cottage, like a summer cottage that they would go to on weekends. And her cousins, another part of the family, still has their cottage here 40 some 50 years later. Her cousins are going to spend the weekend at their cottage. We're going to spend a couple of days with them, and we're going to take you along. We're getting ready. We decided no breakfast this morning because we've been late for everything so far. So, what? Oh.
Yeah, it is.
And here's Owen.
Hi.
I wanted to tell you, you guys have gotten really good at the setup and takedown.
Okay. You've told us that a million times before.
I know, but I try to give you compliments, son. Somebody gave you a bad haircut. Remember in previous seasons how they were cute and talkative, and well, now we've hit the tween years, and tweens, it seems, don't care for daddy putting a camera in their face. Is that a proper assessment?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Hey,
Y'all ready?
we're ready.
Let's go.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.